Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Calypso Showcase. Tonight we pay a special tribute to the Lord Kitchener Aldwyn Roberts, dubbed the Grandmaster. In attempting to do a fitting tribute to Aldwyn Roberts, one must appreciate that many of his early works have not been recorded on video. Therefore, the recent live musical tribute to Kitch by his fellow Calypsonians offered an opportunity for many who had only heard of some of his old hits to see them performed live for the first time. Using some of that material, we attempt to show and present a chronological view of Kitchener's career. Kitch was born in a region.
I am like a teacher in this big city. People asking questions that embarrass me. They say, Kitch, you from Arima, and we want to know how Arima people always win in the lottery. So I say, if you kind-hearted like Arima people, you go win lottery, you go win raffle. Don't grudge your neighbors, but just treat them kind like Arimians, them folks of mine.
He started singing in a bamboo tent there. In 1938, he placed first in the Arima Borough Calypso competition. His first hit was a double entendre calypso entitled Green Fig. This earned him a place in the Roving Brigade in 1942, and that prompted him to journey to Port of Spain, where he performed at the Victory Calypso tent.
That was my first inspiration in calypso, Green Fig. I can't remember taking such a short time to compose a song as I did when I composed Green Fig. It's remarkable. I don't understand it at all. This came to me one day walking around the Arima market, and I just walked across to the paddock, and I composed the tune straight away. And it's funny, to me like that was sent for me, because that is the song that brought me into Port of Spain to compete with the big singers.
He was an instant hit. Around this time, it was the Calypsonian Growling Tiger, who recently passed away, that gave Kitch the name Lord Kitchener, a name which Kitch admits that he loves very much.
And Tiger asked me, what is my name? I said, well, they call me the Arima champion. He said that, well, from now on, your name is Lord Kitchener. And I think it's a wonderful name. I thank him for this name, because this name, it's a name that you can sweeten. You know, instead of saying Kitchener, you say Kitch. It's a romantic name. So I can use it as an influence. So, and I love to hear people call me Kitch too. It sounds sweet, lovely, Kitch. So
even when you sing it.
Yeah. So when I sing it, I say Kitch. Sometimes I say Kitch. I make it.
In 1944, he composed what is believed to be the first calypso composed exclusively on the steel band. This was sung in 1945 and was extremely popular. If we recall some of the lyrics, yes, I heard the beat of a steel band, but I really couldn't understand when I tried to make a distinction between John, Bar 20, and Poland.
Well, I heard the beat of a steel band, boys. Can't understand, it was hard to make a distinction between Poland, Bar 20, and John. Boom, bam, ba, jubalam, boom, boom, chum, bam, ba, lubalam, boom, boom, bam, bam, ba, lubalam, jum, tum, bam, ba, lubalam, jum.
In 1946, he opened his own tent, the original Young Brigade, with his good friend up to this day, the Lord Pretender. That year, he won the unofficial road march with a tune called Lai Fook Lee, a calypso which dealt with the Chinese Double 10 celebrations. He also placed second for the Calypso King title behind Attila the Hun. Among his tunes were Mount Olga, one of his early ditties, Scandal in St. Anne's, and Tai Tong Mopsy.
Mongtolga, a mountain a climb at a rima. Mongtolga, a tall mountain a climb at a rima. Catching me hell to climb the hill. The more I try to walk, I sliding still. My body run down a pass a week. I nearly there to reach this mountain peak. The mountain too hard to climb. It taking a length of time, and my knife is too good, so I can't cut the road as I really should.
He left for England later that year, where he spent the next 17 years. His life in England influenced many of his compositions during that period.
Going back to Trinidad, so darling. Nora, Nora, Nora. Why don't you leave Lord Kitchener? Nora, Nora, Nora. I want to go home to see me grandmother. Nora.
This is brought out in the composition Black or White, a tune which is here performed by David Rudder.
My early career was very much Kitchener. Carl and myself, we sort of grew up in the Kitchener's tent. We worked with him for years. Almost all his records from the 70s, 80s, we did chorus work on. So he has, more than anyone else, influenced, our growth.
Despite the tunes that you have chosen tonight, what tunes are your favorites?
Well, one of them tonight, Black or White, Mongtolga, Tai Tong Mopsy. It was so much Kitchener, it's like, it's just so much,
How do you compare a man who is able to say, do double entendre, comedy, humor, a little bit of politics, and yet retain this ability to come up with a pan tune every year? Something that I know you yourself would like to always offer the pan men.
This is, you see, we have a unique kind of spirit in Trinidad. I must add that the Bees is also one of my favorites. But we have a kind of spirit here. I think a lot of people take it for granted. There's a certain degree of, because we have so much creativity, especially like embodied in the man of Kitchener, there's a certain tendency to, in a sense, disrespect art because it's so natural to Trinidadians and the spirit. So Kitchener is like that, the essence of what we are, that constant vibe that redefines itself and re-emerges every few months, recreates in spite of the fact, it's a kind of society where you can give and not get back what you have to give again, and having that ability to keep giving, it's just like, Kitchener is the essence of that.
Your father is an African. Your mother may be Norwegian. You watch me, you would never say goodnight, feeling you are really white. Your skin may be a little pink, and that's the reason why you think that the complexion of your face could hide you from the Negro race. No, you could never get away from the fact, if you're not white, you consider black.
During this period, he never neglected, however, his homeland, though as he sent on hit after hit, including Drink a Rum and a perennial Christmas favorite, tunes like Tick, 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 which he sang in 1948, Nora, Nora, 1951, which is also sung by David Rudder.
You to leave me, Nora, I'm going back to my country. I beg you to leave me, Nora, I'm going back to my country. I'm tired with London, I can't hear me Steve and jamming in John John. I'm getting homesick and feeling sad, so I'm taking my passage to Trinidad, oh darling. Nora, 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 why don't you leave your kitchen now? Nora, 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 I wanna go home to see my grandmother. Nora, 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 darling, what is your intention?
also remember Mama Look a Band Passing, which was the unofficial road march of 1954, and Trouble in a Rima, one of Kitch's personal favorites.
Tum-boom, it's trouble in a Rima, it's trouble, it's manslaughter, in a Rima, I go fight them, in a Rima, it's trouble, and if they beat me, it's manslaughter, it's trouble, tell me woman, and me pooper, it's trouble, and me brother, trouble, don't surrender, I go fight them, round the corner, if they beat me, it's manslaughter, tell me woman, and me sister, and me brother, don't surrender. Trouble, 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 deep God is trouble. Oh God is trouble. Oh God is trouble. Is trouble.
Kitch returned to Trinidad in 1963 and immediately made his presence felt by winning the road march with the composition The Road. Lord Relator reminds us of this classic.
I get information about the situation. They tell me Tokyo is a danger with desperado. They even call Sun Valley, Trinidad all stars and Tripoli. They could pay the mass as long they go tackle me when they pass. The road everybody's but I will not go. The road makes you walk. Sparrow, Scrunter, Gypsy, Sparrow, Scrunter.
He was also a finalist in the Calypso Crown competition where he sang The Road and Love in the Cemetery. It is fitting that Sparrow, who won the competition that year singing Kennedy and Dan is the Man in the Van, should render Love in the Cemetery, which he did at the stadium that night.
Well, he was one of my favorites from way back. He and Lord Melody were the two, I think, who probably shaped my career because he was so lyrical, Melody was so bouncy and melodious at the time. And I sort of, I suppose, you know, allow myself to be influenced by them because they were so sweet.
It was dark, dark, dark in a big, big car. King of country, me and men that like that home. Then I heard and talk and the creeping walk. As I look around frightfully, the old lady center fasten me to the corner from. And then he break me head, run the film on it from me. Run, say, run me lad. Run the people in my car. Run, when it's no running in true. Run, foot sticking in my root. Run, for don't inside that room. Run, I get up in a zoom, 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 zoom.
Kitch went on to record the first hat-trick in the road march competition by winning with Mama This Is Mass in 1964 and My Pussin' in 1965. My Pussin', which Sparrow confesses is one of his favorites, was also a choice, one of the tunes that he chose to sing on that night.
I like them. As a matter of fact, I like all of Kitch work.
My Pussin', one of your favorites?
Definitely. As a matter of fact, I paid tribute to Kitchener in 1968, if you remember.
Definitely.
Right? After having gone to England and encouraged him to come back here, I paid tribute to him in 1968 by singing 4 of his songs on one of my LPs.
We should have sung the same 4 songs tonight.
Well, yeah, but other fellas were fighting for them. You know, other fellas felt they can do them better, and so I suppose maybe, you know, I like it all. I wanted to do Mama Have, Papa Have, and, you know, that type of thing. That's one that I'm sorry that I didn't get to sing.
We gonna sing this one here. I know kids love this one. One of my favorites. I thought I saw a pussycat walking Charlotte Street. What I really wasn't sure was the right person I meet. Just as I was making sure of this young lady. Mister, what you're searching for, the pussy belong to me. Which is it? My pussy. Oh, oh. My pussy. Oh, oh. My pussy. Hey, hey. It's my pussy. I feel the mind. No, take off your hand from me. Don't touch my pussy at all. Oh, oh.
That year, too, he had composed the tune, Hold On to Your Man. This was the panorama selection of the steel band Pan Am North Stars, a band which was denied the glory of their first hat-trick in panorama by Guinness Cavaliers, who beat them into second place. Relator also included this in his medley of Kitch's tunes.
This year, they gon' get a lot of comments in talk. Beware when you hear the steel band boys coming down as the time is moving and the band coming. Well, you must agree. Well, you have to hold on to somebody. So, darling, hold on to your man. If you love me, don't ask me why. Watching in the band when you jump in, cause you will cry. Darling, we live and we learn. You got to keep what you earn.
In 1966, Kitch sang My Brother, Your Sister, which was quite popular, although it did not win the road march. However, in 1967, Kitch was back to his winning ways with the composition 67.
Tina, why you sleeping? This is Juve morning. Tina, why you sleeping? This is Juve morning. Marco, may you hear I want to go? Where you put me wrong that burrito? Well, I never see a thing like that. Now I don't know where to find me, I'll forget. Get up, you too lazy. You're driving me crazy. Madam, you don't understand. I don't want to miss the band. 67, is the season. In the band, we'll be hugging up around the road. Murder, jumping, fire, this is red.
1967 also saw what is Kitch's biggest hit up to today, Sugar Boom Boom.
Audrey, where you get that sugar? Darling, there is nothing sweeter. You make me squeal, you make me fall, you make me feel like 10 feet tall. Sugar boom, sugar boom boom. 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 Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay.
Kitch continued his domination of the road march by winning again in 1968 with his tours, here performed by Calypsonian Gypsy.
Tourist dame, I met her the night she came, curiously asking about my country. Said I heard about Bacchanal and the Trinidad Carnival, and I come to join in the fun. I want you to show me how it is done. I said, do coming down to the morning, find yourself in a van. Watch the way how the natives moving, hug up tight with a man. Sing along with the tune they play, and now I hear you shouting, when my Bacchanal is tourist, that is Carnival.
He also composed the tunes Marsicon and Wrecker. Wrecker, you'll remember, was the panorama choice of the band's solo harmonites, a tune which many consider to have been one of the classic arrangements of Panorama. In 1969, he sang Juve 69 and The Bull. The Bull was played by Starliff in 69, which they won the Panorama playing. In fact, to date, 12 of the Panorama winners have achieved this enviable feat, playing one of Kitchener's tunes.
This bull in the house, I will kill a steel band man. Look out! Licks in the band. Tell them, stop me if you can. If they have no kind of behavior, I will lick them till they surrender. We're getting on our full, so I bring back the bull.
After missing out in 1969, he bounced back to win in 1970 with Margie, which Black Stallion reveals is a little tabanka Kitch had, which he turned into a calypso.
I think what really stands out in my memory with Kitchener, you know, like I've lived, I mean, people remember I've lived by Kitchener something like nearly 5-6 years. I spent 10 years working with him. And I think, you know, one of the most interesting things about Kitchener was, I think it was 1969, I must say. Just at the point of maybe, you know, when he had this...
The bull.
Yeah. I think it was a division, you know, between himself and the wife went back to England, and we was living down there, and he was a bit lonely and everything. And I've been able to see him take a song like Margie, or a topic like Margie, where, you know, it was pain and this sort of feelings that the wife go on, and turn it into a beautiful love song, and, you know, and make a road march out of it. And I think, you know, seeing this by Kitchener, I think is one of the greatest that I've seen.
In fact, that was one of the tunes I would have liked to hear. I always remember Desperados playing that tune, and I think it's one of his most tuneful compositions.
Yeah. I mean, I was on spot especially for Margie that year, because I remember Clive being the first year arranging for Kitchener and being arranging for Desperados that same year, and he played in the Calypso tent. And I mean, like, I've heard Margie, you know, like singing even before lyrics went to it. And I think, you know, this is one of the greatest experiences I had with Kitchener.
To date, Kitch has had moderate success in Calypso competition, having been in the finals in 1963, 64, and 65. His best showing up to that time was in 1964, when he tied for third with Sparrow. In 1971, he returned to competition in an effort to dethrone Duke, who was going for an unprecedented 4 straight wins. It is now history that Duke won despite Kitch rendering the road march of that year Mass in Madison, along with another popular tune, Play Mass. The two tunes which Relator chose to start his medley at that night at the National Stadium.
This is how we know they used to play Mass in Trinidad. Jumping, whining. Remember you must swing right, swing left. Jump as you mad. Jumping, whining. And then you chuck in, you come back whining. I say do. Jumping, whining. Then you shout and say, let we break away. All you do, give me room, let me pass. Play mass. Sing the chorus, play mass. Darling, don't stop. Move fast. When you jump up, have a good time, a good time. Crazy night. Play mass in Madison Square. And they down, and they blast, and they say we walk, we fed, and they abuse, and they cuss, and they say we can't regret. And they down, and they blast, but we hope it is so true. They don't care to cancel, we jump up 1972, but mama, when they hear, they will get the carnival. All masqueraders on heat. Well, they didn't share, they didn't want to be shouting, but they start to be run from the street. And they start to jump around. You see how they did, but what was so coming down? And was so
In 1972, Kitch produced 3 gems, St. Thomas Girl, Mrs. Harriman, and Mysterious Letter. You'll remember St. Thomas Girl was the Panorama choice of solo Hammonites that year. Not many people also recall that he also sang Revenge for Trini, which was a follow-up to Take Your Meat Out My Rice. Sugar Aloes singing on the night at the National Stadium did a commendable job of recreating this humorous number.
Trini decide to play brazen and pay back bitch with your own medicine. He say, bitch, it's long time I asking you to try some crab and callaloo. Just behind the WC, you go get big crabs in quantity. Veggie, but he didn't know the crab by the WC was crapo. He say, good Lord,
Crab and callaloo is sweeter than flying fish and cuckoo. And when I go and tell Gertrude, she must come Trinidad and enjoy good food. Good Lord.
Kitch was in ripping form in 1973, taking the road march with Rainorama, which later inspired the title for his home, Rainorama Palace. His LP that year featured a number of hits, including tunes like One to Hang, We Walk 100 Miles, Carnival 73, Mars in Germany, and what is considered one of his best political songs, here performed by the mighty Chalkdust, Dr. Hollis Liverpool, No Freedom.
I'm glad for getting stranger. I'm glad for weeks also. I'm glad for all them detainees, man. I'm so glad they let them go. They captured them one morning. They tell them it's no way. They innocently push the people straight in the royal jail. Oh, what a country. Oh, what an awful sin. How come they could be jailing people so without a hearing? There is no freedom. Somebody put a hand. Oh, come the vengeance of Mogo will surely fall on this land.
The following year, 1974, Sparrow also returned to the fray, and with Shadow beginning to assert himself, they launched a three-pronged attack on Duke, with Sparrow emerging the victor and Shadow second with his immortal Bassman, and I Come Out to Play. Kitch's big tune that year was Jericho, and this was also used by solo harmonites in Panorama to record another one of their many victories. What must be considered one of the high points of Kitchener's career was the year 1975, when Kitch was able to achieve the rare double. He won the Road March singing Spree Simon and the Calypso King title singing Spree Simon and the Uptempo Fever.
Viva, 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 viva.
The following year, he won his 10th official road march title with Flagwoman. Scrunter, one of the high points of the night, was able to capture the exuberance of this calypso in a memorable performance.
You have no band without a beautiful flagman. You have no band without an experienced flagman. The band will have no control, the music will have no soul, the rebel love will flow, the usual man from evil. A woman really have the thing that looks set you jumping, anytime you want the thing that gets you belling, anytime you get the thing that you're in trouble. No one thinks.
Send them crazy. Woman, woman, move your heart.
Between 1977 and today, Kitch has concentrated mainly on classical compositions for the pan. It was very noticeable that in every panorama from 1963 to now, more Kitch calypsos have been used than by any other composer. A number of outstanding tunes surfaced from 1977, including tunes like Symphony in G, Pan Night and Day in 1985, Pan in A minor in 1987, Iron Man in 1990, Bee's Melody in 1992, and Mystery Band later that year. Each year, Kitch's LPs are filled with calypsos covering a variety of topics which are often overlooked by a public caught up in the attraction of the road march, race, and panorama. In the area of social commentary, he has sung tunes like Black or White, Federation, Your Own Comes First, Best Things in Life, Mama Have, Papa Have, Mother and Wife, Palmas Are One to Hang, and Trinidad Time. Here's Chalk Dust with Mother and Wife and Gypsy with Trinidad Time.
If your mother and your wife are jogging, I want to know which one you would be saving. If your mother and your wife are jogging, I want to know which one you would be saving. Well, for me, I'll hold on to my mother, and my wife will have to excuse Kitchen. I can always get another wife, but I can never get another mother in my life.
Every Trinidadian believe in a lime. From the smallest child to the adult, they have no regards for time. Don't bother to date them. You're looking for problems. When they tell you 8, well at 10:30, you know stop to wait. And they come when they feel it's a joke. It's tradition. And we even reach late for the walk. They never puncture. Ah, everybody know.
Anytime it's Trinidad time.
Wherever you go.
Anytime it's Trinidad time.
When they tell you 8.
Anytime it's Trinidad time.
Ah, they come half past late.
Anytime it's Trinidad time.
Gypsy considers Kitch to be a master of double entendre, and his Dr. Kitch and Gimme the Ting are good examples.
Because this man, he had such an influence on my life. As a matter of fact, when I started singing Calypso, he was one of the people who I really used to hang out with. But the thing about it is that he has a whole lot of titles to his name, and he deserves even more. But there's a title that I don't hear anybody talking about, and if I had to bestow one on him, I would call him, what you will call him? The Pope? Could call him that. You could call him that too. I feel we need that too. But I would call him the king of suggestive songs. I will extempo.
I am not a professional physician, and I don't want to give this injection. I am not a qualified physician, and I don't want to give this injection. But Dorothy is working for trouble. She insists I give her this needle. But darling, one thing I want you to know, don't blame me for where we need to go. I push it in, she pull it out, I push it back. She start to shout, Dr. Kitch, it's terrible. I can't stand the size of the needle.
He also sang a variety of humorous calypsos such as Tai Tongue, Mopsy, Pillow Fight, and Cockroach. In the political area, he offered Soca Corruption, Not a Damn Seat, PNM March, The Water Cry, No Freedom, and Jericho. a novel way of dealing with the after effects of the 1970 revolution. He has always been prone to the changing styles in music, as evidenced by his compositions like Breakdance, The Dog, The Bump, Soul Train, and a tune destined to be a classic, 12 Bar Joan.
All up there, let me hear it.
Dance with me, I want to romance you, you must agree. You're driving me cuckoo, girl, can't you see? My love is really true, I've got to be. You want to control you, looking at you. I get a sensation out of the blue. You know my emotion, dance with me, I want to romance you, you must agree. You're driving me cuckoo, girl, can't you see? My love is really true, I've got to be. You want to control you, looking at you. I get a sensation out of the blue. You wrote me. You got to shake your body line. Make no mistake. You got to grind, girl. For goodness sake, dance with me. I want to romance you. You must agree. You're driving me cuckoo, girl, can't you see? My love is really true, I got to be. They want to control you, looking at you. I get a sensation out of the blue. You're out the emotion. You got to shake your body line. Make no mistake. You got to grind. For goodness sake, die. You got to shake your body line. Make no mistake. You got to grind. For goodness sake, down. Come on, Joe, move your feet. Get the feet up the feet. Jumping time with the bar. To the tune of the down. Jump and frown, dance. Come on, Joe, move your feet. Get the feet up the beat. Jumping time with the bar. To the tune of the yard. Do your thing, jump and frown, dance.
What is certainly significant about all his compositions is that melody is never sacrificed or compromised, despite his lyrical strength. His creative ability to compose new melodies is a God-given talent which amazes even Kitch himself. What makes Kitch great? Why is he considered a living legend? To put his achievements in capsule form, he was the Calypso monarch in 1975, the only year that he won, singing two popular tunes of the day, Fever and the tribute to Winston Spree. But when we look at his achievements in road marches, unofficially he won in the year 1946 with Live Oak Lee and 1954 with Mama Look a Band Passing. But officially from 1963, such tunes as The Road, Mama This Is Mass, My Person 67, Miss Tourist, Margie, Mass in Madison, Rainorama, Tribute to Winston Spree, Flag Woman. Most importantly, from the inception of the steel band panorama to this year 1991, at least a single tune, and in many cases more than one tune, has been played by Kitch. Starting in 63 with The Road, Mama This Is Mass, Hold On To Your Man, My Brother, Your Sister, 67, Massacre, Miss Tourist, Wrecker in 69, The Bull and Juve 69, Margie, Sock It To Me, Play Mass, Mass in Madison, Miss Harriman, St. Thomas Gill, Rainorama, Jericho, 20 to 1, and in 1975, the ever popular Tribute to Winston Spree, Simon, of which 7 of the 8 bands in the final played his tune. Flagwoman and Pan and Harmony in 1976, Hazley Crawford, Pan in the 21st Century, The Dog, Miss Universe, and Jean the Netball Queen and No Pan in 1980. More Pan, Soca Jean, Pan Explosion, Heat, 50 Years of Steel, Symptoms, 200 Years of Mars, Tourist Elsie, Sweet Pan, Pan Night and Day, Breakdance, Pan Here to Stay, 87, Pan in A Minor, and Sexification, Pan in Me, Two to Go in 89, Iron Man in 90, and Pan Dingolay in 1991. A total of 46 tunes, all composed and sung by Kitch. He has composed over 60 tunes, which has been used by steel bands in Panorama from 1963 to 1993. He's the only Calypsonian who has had at least one selection played at every Panorama. He has won the Road March more than any other Calypsonian, living or dead. He has recorded up to last count over 250 tunes, all his own composition. He has composed over 500 calypsos, including for other Calypsonians, which he has never publicly taken the credit for. He has influenced in a positive way the careers of more Calypsonians than any other person. After 56 years as a professional Calypsonian, he is still alive and kicking, still composing, recording, and performing. Truly a living legend. As his fellow Calypsonians in paying tribute to him said, he did it his way. We pray that he will be with us for many years to come.
He had his fill, his share of losing. And now that his tears subsides, somehow with all so amusing
to take you did all that.
Yeah.
And may I say, it was not in a shy way.
Whoa!